start by saying your name, rank, company, your billet/MOS?
My name's Sgt Joseph B. I'm the 2nd Squad Leader for 2nd Platoon, Kilo Company, 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines.
Can you explain your workup for this deployment and how it prepared you and your squad, platoon, company?
Yeah, the workup for this deployment is really fast-paced, kept us real busy from start to finish from when we came back in January, just as far as restructuring the platoons. Pretty quick to be back out in the field in 29 Palms. Abroad, we traveled to Pendleton, did Pacific Horizon, dealt with operations utilizing amphibious vehicles, going out to a ship, which was a first for me. We moved on to Bridgeport later on. It was early spring, so a lot of the camaraderie and dealing with the terrain and weather there brought the platoons together real tight. And then a continuous training effort at the Marine Corps Ground Combat Center, 29 Palms. Just seemed like every other week we were back out at a range, working from the fire team level up to the platoon level, the fire team and the squad level up to the platoon level with the platoon commanders, platoon sergeants in place.
What were your thoughts about coming back to Sangin?
My thoughts on coming back to Sangin, as a combat replacement last year, I got here during the tail end of the operations for 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines. I didn't see most of the kinetic environment that the Marines saw in the green zone. But we came here, we trained throughout the workup expecting a kinetic environment. So we were expecting to fall in on the same kinetic Sangin, Afghanistan that most of the Marines experienced from last year.
Can you talk about your experience throughout this deployment?
So my experience moved all across the company's AO, through Kilo Company's AO. So far, my platoon, 2nd Platoon, we currently hold a northeastern line of the battle space. Just moving through the area, meeting all the locals, meeting people, different types of environment, and through the season changes, got to see the farm fields as they changed through the seasons. The weather's changed, different types of people, different villages, people's different take on our mission here. But it's really just been expeditionary as hell.
You said you were in Sangin last year, right? Actually, you were talking. Can you explain an average security patrol and how you think it helped as far as accomplish the general mission of the battalion?
An average security patrol day when we're on daytime patrol for my squad, planning and prep starts 2 hours prior. So see the guys, if we've got a 07:30 patrol, they're up 05, they're going through PCCs, PCIP, so I'm working the order. I'm getting honesty traces, our route, conferring with my element leaders, with my point man, deliver the order, check up on the PCI's piece, double tap, we've got all our equipment, we step out of the wire. Could be a day patrol that ranges from 6 to 8 hours, sometimes more. Our patrols now are taking us further north and northeast. We could engage on a patrol, we could move up to a sector that may be 2, 3, 4 clicks, and then through round trip be a 7 or 8 click movement. Basically engaging the locals, letting them see that we're there, partnered with the police forces here in Sangin, so that the people can see that they're out there with us. The people are telling us that they feel more secure, they like the safety, and they like seeing the Afghan police out there with us. It can be tiring, the weather's changing, it's starting to warm up again. It's a tireless effort on both parties, dealing with both the Marines, coalition forces, and the police forces.
Can you explain the counterinsurgency mission?
Dealing with counterinsurgency, we show a presence and, like I said, give the security for the locals. You know, we're basically delivering a good training platform, a good training environment for our police counterparts. They live with us on site at the patrol bases. On days that they're not patrolling with us, we may do classes and help train them. We had the ANA, the Afghan Army, with us. They're far steps ahead of anything that I've experienced as far as last year to now. Had minimal work with them, but through the training they've been receiving at a higher level, down to living with us on the patrol bases, to include the police. They're out there with us day to day, doing the patrols. The more training they get from us and the more independent they become, the more of a stability platform they deliver for the security of the country and Sangin area. And that security platform will help develop in their government.
What was the hardest part or a daily struggle that you had during this time?
I'd say probably just the changes with AO. You got to stay flexible. As I said, we moved all across the AO. We were really expeditionary. Seemed to develop relationships with local villagers in one area, local farmers, and then you got to pick up a move. But we've been chasing the enemy through the valley. We go where we're needed, and we go where the more of the training and more the Afghan police may need the help in training or may need us stood up there. So probably just the diversity, in the area, and as we continue to push further through the AO, it's just kind of like a start over and a rebuild. It can get mundane, but I think all my guys, all the Marines, they understand the focus needed and the importance for the mission there.
How do you feel about working alongside Afghan National Security Forces?
You see them change, through from last year to this year. I worked with the police some last year of my short time that I was here, but just the volunteer force, the way more of them are coming forward, that's good to see. Obviously, they're not as far as long as we'd like them to be, but then again, that's why we're here. It's great to see progress as we train them. From, like I said, we train them during the day if they're not patrolling that day, or if we're not on a patrol cycle that day, then we do hours of training with them. Everything from patrolling. They do receive training at their level as far as being police or being Afghan Army, but every little bit that we get to be with them in training, or to take them on a partner patrol with us, inevitably leading to them running their own patrol with a limited amount of Marines, basically just as an advisor in the back of the patrol. So like I was saying, any type of success is great to see. You take that police force, that small element, of volunteers, some training and patrolling with them, and then to see them conducting those short-range patrols, and then hopefully in the future long-range patrols on their own. That's progress, at its finest.
What did you do on your downtime when you were bored? I guess actually not just you, but what was the general?
See, downtime didn't have a whole lot of, not on this deployment. For my platoon and where we were, and as we moved, everybody was pretty busy. If you had a chance, you got some sleep. Downtime as it came, I know I see the guys, they liked, when we get our mail, they get the updated, try to keep up on current events, newspapers, magazines from home. A lot of guys wrote letters, kept correspondence with family and friends. But outside of hitting the gym, maybe getting some reading and some extra sleep in, not too much on the downtime as far as that goes.
Can you talk about the weather, just how it changed, how it affected your daily mission?
Yeah, we got here, in the fall, October time frame. It was still pretty warm. We were used to, and the guys that spent more time here last year, used to the heat from the summer coming into the fall. We had the heat pretty much through later fall. The winter seemed to pick up a little bit later, around December, end of December, January time frame. Some of February was when the cold really set in. We still, same mission, even though it was cold, we were still out there, night OPs, conducting daily patrols, partnering with the Afghan security force, Afghan police, Afghan Army. And the people were still outside. Even when it's cold, when it's raining, they're still farming, and they still need our security. So there we were. Now, as we're climbing up into March here, it seems like The weather's pretty much overnight shifted. It's warmed up. The dust storms moving in. But when we're not at op men, we're still out there. We still conduct our training when we're inside the wire. Any type of reset training, keeping the guys frosty and fresh with our TTPs and our immediate action drills.
Overall, how do you think this deployment went?
I think this deployment went really well. I based that on what our commanders had told us. This wouldn't be a deployment that was based on how many firefights won, but as to how much presence we showed, how far we pushed the Afghan forces, speaking of ANA and the Afghan police, in state being, and how little we saw of a kinetic environment and how few firefights that we ran into. With that being said, I think we did pretty well. We've made good relations with the people in the villages. I know from my platoon all the way across the board, we helped where we can, get behind the Afghan police and the Afghan army, and help push them, so that the people see that they're there to help. I think as far as mission-wise, it went really well.
How do you feel about being a part of 3-7?
I've been a part of 3-7 quite some time. I first came to 3-7 in 2005. I did 2 deployments with Ramadi, Iraq, 2005, 2006, again in 2007, and then volunteered, came back to 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines in 2010 as a combat replacement, and now I remain with them now through this deployment. It's good to be back. I'd say, mission in a lot of ways is the same, just the faces change, but I'll never forget my days with 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines.
What are your final thoughts about the plan? Anything you want to add?
I know that through it all, that my guys have, that they're going to be ready once 1-7 gets here to give a good turnover. Make sure that they have good understanding of the environment of their the AO, the battle space that we give them. Up until the last day before we leave, we'll be pushing hard, seeking out that enemy, and whenever he chooses to exploit himself, actions on will be aggressive as always.